Hello whiskey friends, this is Garen from Whiskey Savages welcoming you back for our 5th official video. It's been a little bit of time since I filmed one of these. You'll notice that I'm noticeably fuzzier and have aged myself unintentionally about 10 years. I've got a cool new Scotch tasting hat, which hopefully will add to our credibility. So, welcome back. This is our last in a series of videos talking about the best bottles that we had in 2023. We kicked it off with a Kilkerran 8-year-old cask strength. Then we moved on to an Oban special release from 2022. And this is the last bottle that we're going to talk about here. This is a Mortlach 25-year-old Gordon&McPhail Distillery Labels Edition. So a little bit of a disclaimer right off the hop. This was not a cheap bottle. We found it at retail at BSW out west it was initially $375. We spoke with the manager, Ricardo, out there. Shout out to BSW first of all. That was one of the best customer experiences that I've had, not just dealing with alcohol or whiskey, but just in general. They gave us 15% off this bottle, and not just this bottle, they gave us 15% off our entire order. Now we do order a good amount from them, and we're part of a kind of a buying group that gets a lot from BSW, but even still. So this bottle was originally listed for $375. So the 15% knocked it down to a little bit more of an affordable range. It was like in the $320s. So BSW, can't say enough good things about them. I also can't say enough good things about this bottle. First of all, the packaging is awesome. It's a really good looking bottle. Kind of a sucker for those types of things. You'll notice this is going to be a shorter video because there is nothing left in this bottle. It is basically scraps and some vapors. So we bought this bottle as a group of 3 for our last Scotch event. I didn't purchase this myself, so what we did is all of us pitched in $75. We split that among 3 different bottles of different price ranges. To test the theory, is more money going to equal more quality? So this was definitely the top range of what we spent. So we're not going to be tasting it. I am going to, sweet memories. This bottle was really, really good. This, up until that point, this was the most expensive bottle that I had, and definitely one of the most expensive bottles that a lot of the guys that were there had ever tried. So 20, and also the oldest, so 25 years, so it's getting up there. So Mortlach, Speyside whiskey, sherry casks, kind of a cool distillery. One of the first legalized distilleries in Scotland in 1823 to be able to legally make whiskey. This was my first ever Mortlach. It came highly recommended. So we read a ton of reviews to decide which bottle we were going to get. The smell of this, even now with those few little drops in there, it's really, really nice. So because I'm not tasting it, I still have my handy whiskey journal here, just kind of what the notes that I had written down. Super rich on the nose, like really nice, rich, full smell. There's a decent amount I found of citrus when smelling this bottle. And dates, and specifically in Canada, we have this dessert that's called like date squares. It's like a date cake. It's sweetened dates with cooked oatmeal, brown sugar. That's what this reminds me of. Yeah, like nice, warm date squares. You can eat them with ice cream. They're really, really good. So you're getting those I'm getting those brown sugar. I'm getting those kind of like cooked oats type flavors, a little bit of pepperiness, which I like. I definitely prefer, I love that flavor. So pepper and spices. So there's a little of the peppery spiciness, I guess, on this one, but not a ton, but definitely the sweet flavors or the sweet smells are at the forefront of this, which you would kind of expect from like a sherried whiskey. So on the taste, I had with an exclamation point, sherry. So there's no mistaking this. You know, if you're gonna try this blind, you're gonna know this is a sherried whiskey. A lot more chocolate on the tasting, chocolate, vanilla. So these two opposing flavors. I got a little bit of like custard, a little bit of pudding. Someone described it as creme brulee. So that kind of like scorched brown sugar, custard flavors. Once they said that, I could see it a little bit, but yeah, definitely. There's a little bit more interesting flavors I found on the taste. A little bit of wood, kind of the woodiness. I looked at one of the reviews and someone said it was kind of sulfur, like this kind of sulfur taste. I didn't get that, but there's something along those lines, whether they scorched the inside of the cask before filling them. But there's a little bit of kind of like funk, dampness, maltiness, just a little bit, but definitely leaning way more towards those kind of sweeter flavors. A little bit of coffee, and one thing that I found there was a ton of, which I really enjoyed, was almond flavors. Or here in Canada at Costco, they make these almond like danishes. So it's pastries with powdered sugar and they use almond oil. They're super, super good. That's what this reminded me of. It was kind of, smell reminded me of date squares. The taste reminded me of kind of like this almond Danish. It was really, really nice. The finish was also quite nice. More citrus, a little bit more wood on the finish. It didn't last super long, unfortunately. So I would say, people would say this would be like a medium finish whiskey. It was bottled only at 46%. I think if this was bottled a little bit higher, this experience would have been outrageous. The previous offering of this was bottled at 43%, so people definitely like this one a lot more. And I think if the next bottle was 48, 49, like pushing into the 50s, this bottle would be dynamite. So when thinking of all the people that tasted it at our event, there's 12 of us. I was the only one that I knew what everybody was drinking. And 8 out of the 12, so myself included, 8 out of the 12 preferred this whiskey over the out of all of the 3 of them. So overwhelmingly in a blind tasting, this definitely won. So could I recommend it? At full price, it's a lot. You're gonna find it right now, right around anywhere between $3.80, which we paid, to into the $4s. There's not a ton of bottles out there. At that price range, I'm kind of torn. I think you could find something comparable or maybe even cheaper that would compare in quality. But if you're getting it below that kind of retail price like we did in the 320s, this is definitely 100% worth it. And it is available. So like I'm gonna rank this bottle in the high 8s, like pushing a 9 for experience, taste, you know, all those types of things. Value for dollar, it might not really be there, but this bottle was fantastic. This is what it beat out at our tasting. So we paired it up with this one here. So the Aaron Sherry Cask Bodega, super powerful, 55%. And then we matched it up. This was the other one. So it was from an independent bottler called Single Cask Nation and Ardmore 23. Also definitely a little bit higher on the alcohol content. It was in the 52s, I believe. But anyways, we're gonna talk about those bottles in the future. So Mortlach 25, Gordon&McPhail Distillery Labels Edition. If you can get your hands on it, do a bottle split, grab a sample from somebody. This was a really, really, really nice bottle. For the money, you're not getting great value. It is what it is. So that's it for the last video in our series of the best of 2023. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the video below. We're still open to any sort of suggestions. We really appreciate any of the support that you guys are giving us. We really enjoy making these videos. We're gonna be having a few guests on in the near future, so that should be pretty fun. Some blind tastings and some really interesting bottles. So thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you soon.